get what you're saying. I do remember, and this was kind of a big deal way back during like the early 3D console days. Nintendo used to put out the most powerful console in terms of hardware.
Well, that was their goal back then. They prided themselves on making everything like they wanted to do the the 16-bit and make it look great, make it sound great, and went to great lengths to make everything look and sound the best and beat the competition at every point. And then at some point, that stopped for some reason.
Yeah, I've kind of accepted that Nintendo is not trying to make the most high-powered console. I mean, because now we're at a point now where if you want the best graphics possible, you got to just build a really high-end PC. Now, Sony with the PlayStation and Microsoft with the Xbox, they, of course, kept that war going of who could have the best graphics, which, I mean, as of now, it's pretty undisputed that it's PlayStation solidly has the best specs, right? Or
again,
I don't know. I haven't paid attention to like all
the
the
thing. So
here, I know you have some things to say, Rich.
I'm going to make
break
this
down
as
your
brief as
thoughts
possible.
on the Xbox spin-off
So again, I
consoles.
was explaining this to Chris earlier, and I'm not going to explain the whole thing. All I'm going to say is you can look it up, but it's like because everything that comes out for the Xbox Series X must also work for the Series S, except things will look a little bit better on the X, right? Or whatever, vice versa. Actually, at this moment, I forget which one's better than the other. But the point is, like, they released two consoles, and one's cheaper and more consumer friendly. And what that means is you basically have to make a game for two different consoles, and that's hard on the publishers because it means that you must, no matter what, put in some kind of performance mode so that things run better on the better Xbox. But they're not going to look. They look better on the better Xbox. But they're not going to be as good as that Xbox could handle it because those games must also be made for the lower Xbox versus one PS5 that runs everything beautifully. And again, I could go into more and more details, but I'm just saying it's like, just make one console. That's a diss on Microsoft a little bit, but I'm just saying, just make one console. Just make one console.
Yeah, I agree with Rich on that. I think I accepted a long time ago that in terms of Nintendo, they're not trying to make the most powerful console. They're trying to be consumer friendly because their consoles are cheaper. So I think that they're just trying to make the fun, stylized, cartoony Nintendo games. They've accepted their niche is like kind of an affordable console. They're not trying to have the most groundbreaking graphics, and there was a period of time where I remember being upset about that and wishing that Nintendo was.
I mean, we got a lot of good, like the thing is, as much as I can rant about that and get mad about it, our fans right now, they're all kind of saying the same thing, that when it really comes down to, at least for the people that really care about games, not the flighty people, the people that really care about games are going to care about story or
Gameplay.
the gameplay, the actual gameplay, and what Blue subscribed, thank you, Blue. There are things that make, I want to say this. There are things about video games that have nothing to do with graphics that make a game good. That's why some of my favorite games are still from ages ago. I mean, I love Metal Gear Solid, and, that game moves like this. Sure. I mean, it's not really about the graphics. What I hate, though, is the logic that some game developers have today. They're like, well, if you want a game that looks just as good as GTA 5, but better, it's going to take 10 years. And I said this last week, and I'll say it again. Well, why don't you look at the Final Fantasy VII remasters? Because they look awesome, and they have over 100 hours worth of content. So, what are you doing, Rockstar? Anyway.